Hey, what's up, everyone? So we've got a compact but meaningful update for NBA 2K26, patch 1.0 and 12.00. And I want to walk you through what changed, why it matters, and how this one fits into the bigger picture of the game's upkeep. This isn't one of those huge updates that flip the entire meta or overhaul dribbling, shooting, or defensive logic. Instead, it's one of those updates that focuses on polish, smoothness, and fixing little things that have been annoying players for a while. Those quieter changes don't always get the spotlight, but they're usually the updates that your game sessions end up relying on the most. One of the standout adjustments in this patch is the fix for the visual VC bug on the recap screen. A lot of players were noticing that the VC total shown after finishing a game looked lower than what they expected, and that caused confusion every time people tried to track how much they actually earned. Even though it was primarily a display issue and not that VC was being lost, it still created that moment of, wait, what just happened to my rewards? The update cleans up that inconsistency, so what you see on the recap screen lines up with your actual wallet, and you don't have to double check every single time. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. The patch also makes stability a priority across the city, MyCAREER, Pro-Am, and online modes in general. These aren't flashy changes, but they're extremely important for keeping players from dealing with disconnects, random freezes, or weird lockups during matchmaking or loading. Anyone who spends time in the city knows that it's dense with assets, other players, animations, and background systems, and even a tiny hiccup can push the whole thing into a freeze or a boot back to the main menu. So improving stability across those areas means fewer dropped sessions, fewer interrupted quests, and fewer wasted minutes dealing with reloads. The patch also mentions performance and frame pacing improvements, and this is the kind of thing that you don't always consciously notice, but you feel it. Frame pacing affects how smooth animations appear, especially during high-action moments like fast breaks, traffic finishes, or tight defensive rotations. When pacing is inconsistent, the game feels choppy, even if the frame rate is technically the same. After an update like this, movements tend to feel cleaner, inputs land more predictably, and the little micro moments of jitter or delay soften out. That adds up, especially for players who rely on precision timing for jump shots, steals, or contest reactions. It won't change the mechanics of those systems, but it enhances how responsive they feel. There are also those general optimization notes, stuff like engine improvements and fine-tuning small areas of the game's feel. When developers use phrases like that, it usually covers a bunch of subtle adjustments that don't need individual callouts. Small animation refinements, smoothing transitions, cleaning up minor stutters in menus or courtside scenes, tightening background systems so they don't conflict with each other, and polishing up minor inconsistencies. Over time, these kinds of small internal updates accumulate and make the entire game feel more refined compared to launch. On the community side, reactions are always mixed after these kinds of updates, which is normal. Some players appreciate the fixes immediately because they solve issues that were affecting them daily, especially the VC visual fix and the online stability improvements. Others tend to focus on whether any new issues appear, whether performance changed for specific builds or situations, or whether a certain animation or interaction feels slightly different. Patches like this don't always solve every lingering edge case, but they do address the ones that are the most widely reported or disruptive, and they help set the stage for larger updates later. When you put this patch into the bigger context of how NBA 2K26 has been updating, it lines up with the approach the developers have taken recently. Earlier updates leaned heavily into fixing city-related problems, reducing crash scenarios, and tightening online consistency. This one continues that trend, but adds a nice quality-of-life touch with the VC fix and better frame pacing. It's not trying to reinvent anything. It's about maintenance, refinement, and making sure the foundation stays strong as more seasonal content and events roll out. For anyone who plays long sessions, whether that's grinding MyCAREER games back-to-back, running with a squad in Pro-Am, or just hanging around the city, this update matters more than it might appear at first glance. If you've ever lost progression because of a disconnect, or felt your timing was off because of micro stutters, or had to repeatedly check your currency after every game, these fixes help reduce all that background friction. It's the kind of patch that aims to let players spend more time actually playing and less time troubleshooting. So even though this update isn't packed with shiny new features or massive gameplay changes, it accomplishes what it sets out to do. Clean up a misleading VC display, make the city and online modes more consistent, but yeah, smooth out performance so actions feel more fluid, and give the game a little extra polish in areas that needed it. These smaller patches often go unnoticed, but they're the ones that quietly make the overall experience more stable and more enjoyable as the season keeps moving forward.